What's going on YouTube? So I wanted to talk a little bit about DraftKings, DKNG, and Penn National Gaming, PENN. Okay, both of these stocks took a little bit of a hit today. There wasn't really no crazy news that was released that on my end, from what I can see, that would cause these stocks to go down. But we did have New York want to go ahead and pass the plan along to go ahead and legalize online gambling in the state of New York. I'm just going to read a little bit of the news that was put out last week on 4/8/21. New York's plan to allow mobile sports betting in the Empire State is good news for DraftKings, but less so for Penn National Gaming, according to Loop Capital. Governor Andrew Cuomo and legislators put together their plan recently, agreed upon a state budget. The hope is that taxes for mobile gambling will help close New York's budget gap. So they're going to allow 4 online sports betting operators in the state. Penn also got downgraded to a sell, and they don't really seem to be at the top of the 4 to win that bid. DraftKings does look good. It does have a price target of 105, but why did it sell off today? Okay, it's down 6.87% today. It sold off $4.28. It closed at 58.03. Just looking at the chart here, I currently do not have any open positions on DraftKings. I was waiting on an entry on DraftKings at 64.75. That was going to be a reclaim of the 50-day moving average, a reclaim of the 20-day moving average, and this white line here is a linear regression line, the 50-day channel here. So I was looking for it to reclaim all of those levels, sort of take out these last 4, 5, 6 days worth of channels here, 64.75. I was going to look to sell in the range of, 66.90, 67, or possibly get into the 70s, maybe 73 dollars there, but it never got there. Obviously, on Friday, we did touch the 20-day moving average at 63.80 and then immediately sold off and closed below the 50-day moving average. So just to give you sort of a, my take, if a stock is trading below the 50-day moving average, generally speaking, it tends to be more on the bearish side. Okay. So if a stock is trading over the 50-day moving average, it's pretty safe to say that going long or finding entries to get long on a stock, whether that be for a 1, 2, 10, 20, whatever point move that you want to call it, definitely on the long side. But if a stock is trading below the 50-day moving average, it's really got to get out of the weeds before, I think about taking any sort of options contracts or any position size into DraftKings. If you are a holder of DraftKings, I do think that in the long term, end of the year, end of the summer, let a couple earnings reports come out. I think you're going to have no problems here. If you are a dip buyer, which means that you're a long-term investor, this is a great dip to buy. You're coming up on the 100-day moving average as well as the 150-day moving average here. We touched that down today at about 56.97. It's also at the bottom of the Bollinger Band as well. So you could get a bounce tomorrow. Still, it would need to really, for me, reclaim the 5 and 10-day moving average, which is not until it's about 61.47. So if you really want to put on some short-term bets, maybe some weekly contracts, I wouldn't look to get into anything just yet, unless you have a higher tolerance for risk and you would like to try to play the bounce off the 100-day moving average in the lower Bollinger Band here. I mean, you would just have to see how DraftKings open up tomorrow. You've got about 3 points worth of potential move on a bounce, 58.03 into the 61.47 area. But again, there's no guarantees. It is a little risky. For me, I'm really not looking for anything on DraftKings until it gets above 64.75, $66, $67 for me is a lot more of a safer play. As you can see here, if it closes above 67, it's got nothing but air, nothing but blue skies ahead to try to, touch 73, 74 and get back to some of these all-time highs here. When that's going to happen, I don't really know. Nasty sell off today. If we can just go to the hourly chart here, so you can see at about 6 a.m. and just this candle just put in a long red candle and sort of just, walked its way down all the way to the low of 57.14, which, as you can see here from this white line, is almost touching this linear regression line here. It did try to make a pushback up and reclaim the 5-day moving average on the 1 hour chart candles here, but couldn't really do anything. So looking forward into tomorrow's session, if you did want to try to play that bounce maybe for a short term, you really don't have a lot of room to work with here. Maybe a reclaim of 5806, 50, let's just call it 5810 into 5940 would be your area, your potential that you would be working with. But going forward, I mean, as you can see here, all of these lines here, these are all supply zones here. So every time DraftKings' price is going to get into these supply zones, it's going to have a little bit of trouble breaking through. Not to say that it can't just put in one candle and push all the way through, but I do think that you would really need some good news for that to happen. So long-term wise, I think, buy the dip if you are a long-term investor. If you're looking to add to your portfolio and you're looking to pick up DraftKings for the first time, this could potentially be a good area to pick some up. However, you do also have some support down here at 55. In my personal opinion, again, I'm not a financial advisor nor an expert on the stock market, just a guy who likes to trade stocks. But 55 area for me would be a little bit more comfortable if I was trying to really buy the dip. I do see DraftKings maybe kind of bouncing in between 58.03 and the $61 area for a little bit, depending on news coming out of New York. So it's just kind of like, the old saying goes is buy the rumor and sell the news. DraftKings did have that nice run up into 74.38 and then kind of has been slowly selling off. And as soon as the news from New York came out that they are going to allow 4 online gambling platforms, it kind of just has been selling off since the weekend. We can just take a quick look at Penn's chart here. Penn, same thing. If I pull up the hourly chart here, did have a little bit of a nasty red candle here at about 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here. 6 a.m. when the market opens, a little bit before pre-market, it did sell off, tried to reclaim the 5-day moving average, however, got rejected, sold through to the lower Bollinger Band here. And then it did reclaim on the hourly chart the 5-day moving average. But again, with Penn National Gaming, you're going to run into some resistance at 102 as well as 103, 105. Penn does not look good to me until 107. If you've been following any of my videos, I did have open contracts that were supposed to be expiring on the 16th. However, I did sell out of those last week just due to the fact that I did not like what the chart was doing. I did not like what the price action was showing me. So, I cut a small loss on that. I do still have a little bit of equity shares in Penn, but again, I don't swing trade those or day trade those. Those are just kind of set up for a long term. So if you are looking to buy the dip on Penn, you got your dip today at about $99.63 and then made a push up. Yeah, Penn really doesn't look good for me to try to swing trade this until it can sort of reclaim this 109 and I would say 109.88 area. It reclaims 110, gets out of this channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The last 6 days here, if it can sort of clear out 109, 110, you've got a little bit of room to 113, 114. And then as soon as it can sort of show some strength and start to reclaim 114, you could potentially have a push to 121. In my opinion, that looks a lot better than trying to get here from 104 to 107 and then 108, 109, so on and so forth. So the gambling stocks not looking too good today. Market overall is still in a bullish context, just because the market, the Qs and the SPYs were a little bit down today. However, both of them are still over the 50-day moving average. So just keep in mind that even though stocks can take a dip, does not mean that they're going lower. Okay, and what I mean by that is stocks go up and down. Everybody knows this. Depending on what side of the trade that you trade, whether that be to the long or to the short side, you're going to have ups and downs throughout the day, throughout the week and months. But right now, I still wouldn't try to short anything. I really wouldn't try to short Penn until it, kind of breaks below 96, 92. You've got a little bit of room to the lower Bollinger Band here of 91. But again, I don't think it's going to do that. Every time it's kind of came down here and touched this 150-day moving average, you can see we've got a bounce. It touched it again, we got a bounce. Touched it again, we got a bounce. Touch it today, we're going to get some sort of little bounce here. It looks like it's been playing in between the $97, $98 area into this 108 area. So just trade with caution. Again, Penn long term, no problems. Penn on the short term, I would stay away. Penn also does have that sell rating on it right now. So until next time, guys, I hope you guys all have a great one.